pleasure to introduce the First Lady of Lockport, Ms. Wendy Strite, who is going to talk about Summer Art Series.
Hi, thank you all for coming today. We really appreciate it. Steve said I could have a bragging moment, so I would like to take it just for like 30 seconds. If you stand across, if you stand at the door at Embers, which is a fabulous place, by the way, but if you stand there and you look across the street, you're going to notice something that I call the Wellness Corridor. I just noticed it recently. I told Steve about this. Of course, you have the Naked Sprout Organic Market. And by the way, I'm tired of hearing from people who live here that we don't have an organic market. It's gorgeous, and Lori Sloan is the person that has made that gorgeous place downtown. And if you're looking for something special, that's where you go. And then right next to that is our yoga studio. And then my new obsession has been this Patriot Pilates. And if you don't know what that is, you want to know what that is. It's worth it. And then right after that is the Vegan Cafe. And they are just these beautiful places that are right next door to each other. And if you have not been into any of those, you need to make it your mission this week to check them out because they're super special. So that's my bragging moment. All right, so what we have coming up this summer are lots of fun things for you guys, starting June 16th through September 23rd. So the first thing is Old Canal Days, and that just keeps getting bigger and better every year. And if you have not attended it in the last couple of years since it's been revamped, it is worth your time, worth your effort. The new food trucks they bring out are amazing. We had a pierogi truck from the city of Chicago. He had to leave because he couldn't make any more and he didn't have any more. It was fantastic. But Old Canal Days is a lot of fun. Our next big event that's coming up this summer is Comicopolis. It is August 5th on a Saturday. We had over 1,000 people at our public library attend this event. It was incredible. You need to come out, you can be an adult and enjoy it, you can be a child and enjoy it, but it is a hoot and we have a blast with it. And it's totally free, and the library does such an impressive job. You don't want to miss this if you have not attended this event. The next thing that's coming up is, I told Steve, I said, we have officially become, we're on the record as, like, we're now a city. This is it. We've arrived. Because we are going to have art in the downtown. You go to those cool historic downtowns like Naperville, or maybe you go to St. Joe's, wherever you might be. But they bring out these fantastic things that people decorate, and they go up for bidding. So this year, we are on the map, and we are going to have these fantastic chairs that businesses can sponsor. They'll be out in front of your place all summer long, and you guys can talk to the Illinois State Museum, our treasured museum person there is John Lustig, and he will help you get started with this. But for $1,200, you could have this gorgeous piece out in front of your place all summer long. And I think it's definitely something that will be worth making note of. So there'll be other opportunities along with this. So just keep your ears open for it, and then please talk to John if you guys are interested in sponsoring one of these. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. The next thing, we're going to be bringing back the collector cards. You too can have something very affordable that your business can sponsor. And again, this is all these things are to drive business, drive people to your business. So one of these may work for you, but this is going to be a lot of fun. If you're interested, Joe Gentile of Amazing Fantasy Comics, he is running that this year with his people from his store, and he would be more than happy to talk to you to get you involved in some way. The next thing that you need to know about is the Steampunk Weekend, our closure for the weekend, and it's on September 23rd. We are bringing Steam Powered Giraffe back, and one of the reasons that we're doing that is because they have such a large following. We brought in over 400 people from 16 different states that was the goal of this particular festival. We're more than happy to have our locals come out. We want that, but we more than that, we want people to come out from numerous states all over to see the beauty of Lockport. We want them to fall in love with Lockport like we have. So this is a wonderful opportunity for shopping, for sponsorships, to come out for the music. It is one of the most unique, I think, festivals that is in the Midwest, frankly. And we had, on the particular day last year, we had almost 1,000 people here. And I know that mystery of, oh, we don't have the parking. We had parking. I know that sounds absolutely crazy. And even in my feedback that I got from the events page from all these people coming, because it all came to me, was compliments on our parking situation. So it can happen. That particular day, we had a wedding at Public Landing that was gorgeous. We had this music fest going on, and there was another event in the downtown. So it can be done. We just have to make sure we have our signage up and people know where to park, but it can happen. So we're ready for things to happen in the downtown Lockport, and we hope that you guys will join us and celebrate our summer that is going to be coming soon enough. Thanks.
Thank you, Wendy, and thank you so much for all your hard work with the Summer Art Series and with your group. It's been great for the city. Thank you. It is my pleasure to introduce the Mayor of Lockport, who has been in office 4 years now and has done, I feel, a wonderful job bringing the city together. As you can see from the crowd here, lots of support and lots of motivation, lots of new things, and now we will find out the state of the city and what's on the horizon. Mayor Stephen Streit.
Well, hello everyone, welcome and thanks for coming out tonight. I definitely want to say thank you to the Chamber of Commerce for all that they do. I'm pleased to see Ron as the new Chamber President. We'll miss Preston, but I know his business has been expanding and he's had other obligations. But Ron Liff has been a magnificent person in this city for Lockport, just tireless, and I know you're going to do a great job, and I'm really excited to see you there, Ron. So thank you to the Chamber for this event and putting it on. I also want to take a moment to thank our public officials. Today in the room we have Senator McGuire's here. Thanks for coming out, Pat. We have Dr. Gibbons here from Taft District 90. Appreciate you being on here, Pat. Or Pam, sorry. Roger Clare is here today. Thank you, Roger, for taking time to come out. Paul Chaldekas is here today. You know, thank you. He's a pro tem mayor right now for Lamont. We're going to see you as the full-time mayor here come next season. And, you know, now that Brian's gone, I feel like, you know, we can't kid anymore. Is it all going to get serious now with Reeves out of the picture? Sorry, you got to carry that mantle for us, Paul. All right. He's always a great sense of humor. Scott Poynton from the White Oak Library District is here today. Thank you for coming out, Scott. Pete Sullivan from District 92 is here today. Pete, thanks for being here. Chief Scory from the Lockport Township Fire Protection District. Ron Alberico, our supervisor in Lockport Township. Thanks, Ron. I saw you earlier. Dr. Todd Wernett's here today from our high school district. Todd, thank you. Bill Reardon from the Park District. Where you at, Bill? You got big shoes to fill now that Sue's gone, but we know you're going to do a good job, Bill. Thanks for coming out. Larry Wall Sr. is here today. Larry, where'd you go? There you are. Thank you for coming out. Ben, I appreciate you being out here, my city administrator. Chief Fleming is here as well. Thank you for coming out with your crew, Chief. Mayor Odekirk is here from the city of Joliet. Bob, thank you for taking the time. I do appreciate it. Dr. Judy Mitchell's here from Joliet Junior College. Thank you for coming out, ma'am. And I think I got everybody. I hope if I didn't miss anybody, forgive me, please. Oh my gosh, George. They didn't put you on the list, George. Me and George, he's the first guy to arrive, and I'm so sorry, George. Thank you for coming out. I do appreciate your time. Thank you, Joanne. That would have been terrible. And I also want to take time to thank my council because they do stuff like that for me. So, you know, you guys have been a great city council to work with. And I just want to, if you can, just stand, all my council members. There's Jim Petrakis is here, Bob Peretta, we've got Joanne Bartleson, J.R. Galogli, Darren Deskin. Okay. Thank you guys for all the hard work that you've done, and I know it's way more work than people think. And you know, staying up at night trying to find solutions, and I appreciate it. And you know, two other people I want to mention quickly also are John Grueling from the Will County Center for Economic Development is here. Thank you, John, for coming out. And Jimmy Louch, please, Jimmy, wave for us. There you are. Thank you for coming out today too. All right, everyone. Let me. I'll try to keep this shorter than Mayor Noakes, which means I could talk for like 2.5 hours, right? So, no, we'll try to keep this quick because I know everybody's time is important. And, you know, one of the things Wendy had mentioned was the wellness corridor. And, you know, fitness is very important. And actually in Lockport, we have a lot of great places to work out in. We have, you know, Perfect Shape Fitness. There's Anytime Fitness, which has just opened up recently. There's Living Waters Yoga. And of course, there's the Park District, Challenge Fitness, that's where I go. And in fact, you know, the Park District is just expanding, came before the city with their new facility, indoor basketball courts, among other things. And we look forward to that. But you know, getting in shape is a commitment, and it's a lot of hard work. You know, a lot of times we all like to see, oh, if we could just take a magic pill to get in shape. But it doesn't work that way. It takes a lot of dedication. And also another thing that helps when you're working out, for those of us, you know, try to get back in shape, is having some accountability. Whether it's a workout partner or you have a class that you know you have to show up to, that kind of dedication and collaboration is really what makes things work. You know, when we took office, me and some of the council folks that are here in 2013, when we got on board, Lockport was out of shape. There's no doubt about it. We had retail lots up at the highway that were all in foreclosure, which means even if a retailer wanted to come in, they couldn't. The bank owned all the property. Our housing starts were anemic. We had overwhelming infrastructure problems that were just, you know, piecemeal done every year. There was never long-term plans. We had a downtown that was quite frankly written off. A businessman who's here today that I won't mention used to tell me, Steve, don't even bother. It's been like this for 25 years. You're not going to change it. And that was kind of the mindset of downtown. All our key staff had either quit or retired early under a previous council. Just, well, it was difficult to work under some circumstances. That's all I'll say for that. But that was what we walked into. And you know, nobody wanted a magic pill to turn the city around and get it back more than I and the council members. That's what we ran for. That was what was most important to us. We're citizens just like everyone else in Lockport. We wanted to see that turnaround. But there is no magic pill. It was only hard work and a lot of dedication. So, while I want everybody to understand that I'll try to keep this as short as possible, but everything that's happening in the city, everything that's either happened or is coming to fruition soon, is all the result of a lot of hard work done by staff, the dedicated staff, our council, volunteer organizations, citizen volunteers and organizations, and even our local businesses have played a huge part. And so all of that has been a community collaboration which makes these things happen. So first I'll get into, you know, one of the things you can't do without money. And our finances are in really great shape. We have a AA bond rating in the city of Lockport, which is about as good as it gets for a city our size. It's our 6th year of GFOA Excellence Award, Distinguished Budget Award. We're in the middle of conducting a special census because now that we're pretty sure we're over 25,000 people, that will make a big difference in how we get state revenue. So we're in the middle of conducting that. And overall, with the growth that we've seen in the last 4 years, our city property tax is down. So great job to the finance department. Thank you, Lisa, for helping and all that stuff. Next, we'll talk a little bit about our infrastructure. You know, in the last 4 years, we put $26.2 million into our water and sewer and roads. This was done with a plan. We put a capital improvement in place, plan so that we could actually, you know, be systematic in what we're fixing, and it was all, you know, wasn't political decisions. These were just decisions that were made out of outside engineering services that came in and saw the worst roads. Those are the ones that got fixed. We've been updating our wells. We put a new iron filtration system is in place. New water main replacements to get rid of some of that, just they get clogged up over time. It's really starting to help our water system. And we've had rehabbed wells or even new water wells have been dug. So I want to thank Public Works for all that they've done to help make that happen. Our phenomenal growth in our business parks. I mean, when Texaco closed many years ago, that was the big employer. We really saw Lockport take a big downturn after that. That was the major employer. After that, the biggest employers were either the school district, the city, or Panduit was our one, manufacturing business that we had. That's completely changed now in these last number of years. We've had a great mix of manufacturing and distribution. Excellent manufacturing, making, fencing for, machinery, heavy machinery, Chiquita Banana, ITT, all these companies have come in now to our business parks. ML Heritage Crossings is here today. I know they've been doing a great job putting these buildings in. We've also seen PressSense Printing is here. LG, UPS is coming on board at the Panattoni site. RJW is part of our city now. All these things have been really wonderful to see. And another thing too is everyone, it's no secret that I really like makers. I like people who make things. I like people who manufacture things. And as a council, we feel the same. And we do what we can oftentimes to attract those kinds of businesses. When Julian Electric was looking to relocate from their Westmont facility to have more space, they looked at a number of cities, but we reached out a property tax incentive to help attract them here because I wanted to see makers. And Ken, forgive me, I took the picture of the wrong building. Actually, their building is much further along than this one. Where's Ken? I'm so sorry. Sorry about that, man. They actually have drywall in, so they took a picture of the wrong building. But that just goes to show things are really moving fast over there at Heritage Crossing. So we welcome you and thank you for working with us and bringing your business here. Another great business that we worked collaboratively to bring into town was Magenta Plastics. Again, they were looking at relocating in a couple different places. There was they chose Lockport. We reached out to them. We said, we want makers here in the city. What can we do to help bring you here? So Magenta Plastics is another great business that came into town. American Fire Training Systems. They wanted to be part of the city. They wanted to access some of our services. We were able to incorporate them into town. They really do a wonderful job making these portable fire stations, and so really excited to see these guys come in as well. Another group of makers. Another thing that's been in the news a little bit, you may have heard, is Prologis has been looking at a development. It's one of these things that every mayor in this room knows the same situation. It's like when you have, industrial zoning that predated neighborhoods, and when that land comes to be built, it's always tough. There's always a lot of anxiety from residents who live nearby. And it's like, how do we balance, what is existing zoning with people that live there and have come afterwards? So it was a challenge, but I want to, say thank you to the folks over at Prologis who were able to take, all that industrial zoning between working with the property owners and Prologis, were able to make some compromises with zoning on the bottom. You'll see that the property owner was willing to take the bottom part of that 2000 zoning industrial, turn it into residential, put some flexibility on the far west to have commercial if we can find the right user for that. So, and they've been great in building sizes and doing extensive berming to try to make the best fit possible. These are difficult to appreciate our council. A lot of people tonight have been trying to really make this work and take care of all the property owners' rights. And I think everyone's doing a good job. So thank you to Prologis for doing the best that they can to in a difficult situation. But we really look forward to them being here. I mean, certainly it has great property tax revenue, and I know that we'll work together also to try to get some more makers into town as much as we can. Sometimes people wonder, with all that industrial growth, what our city balance looks like. The truth is, even if all of our industrial lands in the city of Lockport are built out, it only makes up 24% of our land mass. And that includes office, and that 24% also includes the Chevron parcel, which is over 200 acres. So even with all of our industrial lands built out, it only amounts to 24%. And so this is always part of the trick, is making sure we maintain our identity as a historic town and not become overwhelmed with any of our industry. So fortunately, with the way our zoning is and the way everything lays out, we will continue to keep that balance. Another interesting project that has come up for the last number of years, Ducir Oil was looking at running a pipeline from the Chevron or Shell tank farm going onto the other side of the canal in the unincorporated lands and doing a filling station for oil. It's going to be right next to where this corn tower was. Basically look like this. They'll get rid of the old abandoned corn tower and they will put in their facility here. One of the things they needed from us though was they needed some easements to go through our side of the world and up to the north side of the west end of town. You know, I told them what our needs were. I said, look, I know you guys want to run this pipeline through here, but one of the things that we've had on the table for many years is trying to fund a quiet zone. It's a $2.5 million project, and it's quite frankly something that is very important for the success of a healthy downtown that has a train through it. Any town you go through in Chicagoland that has a successful downtown, whether it's Wheaton or Downers Grove, you'll notice they all have quiet zones. The trains don't blare the horns as they fly through there. It helps with outdoor seating. It helps with better apartments and better quality of life as you live down there. And so all those things were important to us, but we just, quite frankly, never had $2.5 million to make that happen. But Ducir Oil, working together with us, agreed to pay the $2.5 million to be part of our easement so that they could actually use this private money now that we will use to fund this quiet zone. So thank you, Ducir, for putting up with me for a couple of years as I really held to that number. But we look forward to the jobs that it will actually create on the other side of the river as well. So thank you. The State Street reconstruction project is coming along. So this is another thing that's been many years in the works. And I've mentioned this in the past, but every year we get a little closer. You know, IDOT wanted to get rid of all our on-street parking, which is tough already for the downtown businesses, but with the help of Senator McGuire and some others, we petitioned IDOT to help us keep our on-street parking while adding a turn lane, and with a lot of engineering going back and forth, they agreed to that. So we will be doing a major overhaul between 8th and 10th Street. And when we do this, it will have, you know, the beautiful sidewalks, the stone, the planters and everything else that, you know, as a downtown we've been trying to do for many years, but just never had the opportunity. This created an opportunity to do that now that IDOT was coming in. We've been doing prep work. You see here the utility poles are being moved. We've done some other utility work in preparation over the last year. Commerce Street will be getting redone to help businesses access into the back while State Street's torn up. The bidding will be going out this summer with IDOT, with the heavy lifting beginning in 2018. So we look forward to the project. It'll be tough, and we'll talk about that later, how we plan to handle that. But this will be a major change between a quiet zone and having our downtown redone. Don't worry about it. It's been like this for 25 years. I think we're going to be able to move past that and see a really vibrant downtown. Same thing with the Vols building. And this, I bring this up, I mentioned this last year, but it goes into some new things that have come to play. You know, when the Mead brothers, they also had a collaboration with us. This was a building that was going nowhere. It had been burned out for 7 years. I looked at the council. I said, why don't we purchase this building and at least put new windows in it? But fortunately, the Mead brothers came to us and says, you know what? We'll put our own money into this. They couldn't get a loan because the bank saw it as worthless. But if we were able to sell it at $10, we could actually have a collaborative project where they put $1.6 million of private investment into this. And now it is just a wonderful asset to our downtown. They've had over $500,000 in payroll since it opened, most of it going to local folks who work there. Most of that $1.6 million went into private contractors here in the city of Lockport. So everybody actually benefited from this. And it also led to the next part. You know, right now we have our first new building going in downtown Lockport since, who knows? It's been at least 40 years since we've seen a new building go in downtown. And it's going to be the Dunkin' Donuts. The same owner who owns our Dunkin' Donuts further in town, which we're redoing the drive-in right now, so it'll make it easier. He's also opening this location for the west end of town. It'll be a 3-unit building. It'll be where the old Pete's Hot Dogs is when Phil from Pete's retired. You put the land up for sale, and this will be a tremendous asset. They worked with our Historic Society or our H&A Commission so that we could push the building right out to the curb so that it looks like the downtown streetscape. And they should be demoing here within the month and looking to build this summer. So really looking forward to our first new building in the downtown. And I'm going to tell you right now, this would not be happening if the Vols building were still a burned out shell. There's no way anybody would be investing money in our town if we weren't investing in our town. It also leads to another building too. Joe Gallus is before H&A right now with his building that he's bringing in. This will be between the State Street Restaurant and Amazing Fantasy Comics. He bought that lot, and this is the building he has before H&A now. It'll be another beautiful addition. It'll be a 2-unit building. So we look forward to Joe coming in and building a second new building within the last who knows how many years. And even speaking to that, we've had some other new investors come into down. John Fairclaw has bought 4. He's from Resicom. He bought 4 buildings in the downtown, and he's been rehabbing them. The Jean Marie Salon building, the Heritage Pizza building, which he's already talking to me about bringing a new family restaurant as he opens both of those units up into one. Again, John saw all that was going on in the city, and it says he was recognized this is a good time to get involved between the streetscape and all the development. Roxy Theater was another great collaborative project. Trinity Services owns it. I mentioned this last year, but it's really moving forward. They've just finished all the infrastructure for the base. All that stuff was crumbling a year ago. They stripped it all down, put it all back up new, and right now the marquee, which represents what it looked like in the 1930s, is being fabricated right now. So I look forward to seeing that come to fruition here within the next few months. So another great asset to the downtown. New development as the Lockport Township has moved into their new facilities. It enabled us to take the old building and move all of our people into the Central Square building now that Lockport Township will be vacating. That means this building has the opportunity to get on the tax rolls. It could be something that we can use to attract a restaurant. It's because it's ours, we can use it as an incentive. We can find the right user and really make this a special place. So we look forward to actually bringing this building onto the tax rolls for the first time. Our Lockport State Museum. This was another great collaborative project. You know, when the state, I mean, let's be honest, there's a $4 billion hole in the budget. When they closed the state museum campuses around the state, it's understandable why. But, our state museum was important to us, just like every program that gets cut. But what I did do is I reached out to the governor's office and I said, listen, what can we do to possibly share cost? How can we make this work together? I'm not asking you guys to foot the whole bill. I recognize a $4 billion hole in the budget. But we were able to work out a cost sharing with the rent. They paid for the employees. A foundation was set up to also offset the rental cost. And that was actually part of what Wendy spoke to earlier about the Illinois State Museum doing the fundraising with the benches. So all those things enabled us to keep the property open. And also the building owner as well was part of this compromise. So government actually can find ways to work together. It's just a matter of creative ideas and just getting on the phone and having conversations. So we appreciate working with IDNR and the governor's office on being able to keep our state campus open. And it's actually now, the Chicago campus is closed, so this is the only state campus in the region. So look forward to all the things John Lustig is doing, and I see him back there. He's been a great director. Here's another great collaborative project was with the Hell's Gate Haunt. They opened up last year, made a magnificent building. I like makers. These guys are makers, right? These guys are in there making costumes. I mean, there's a whole crew here. They make this fantastic building with animatronics and every other thing you can think of. And it's been a wonderful facility on the far edge of town where it's dark and scary in the old bluffs and the old industrial area. So it was the perfect place for them. And, we've just, that was a collaboration because we helped put some money out there to pave the road. But we had a mechanism that, every ticket sold would be $1 back to the city, and we already got a check for $28,000 because 28,000 people came through in 16 days. So amazing job, John LaFlamboy. And also they won the Best New Haunted House Attraction of the Year, as Haunted House Chicago tells us. So congratulations, bravo, sir. But again, it's about, finding somebody creative and how can we make this work? What can we do? I want to mention the Give Something Back Foundation. They had put in the Lincoln Landing Park before I was mayor, but you may have noticed, some of you, that it got torn up this year and redone. And actually, that's a huge testimony in my mind to Bob Carr. What happened was, and through no fault of the Give Something Back Foundation, but the stone that was picked ended up not holding up in the weather, and it deteriorated very quickly. So there was, a lawsuit, and they got some money back. But, Bob Carr went so far above and beyond putting the park back together right. I mean, he spent another $800,000 on top of the settlement so that he could go above and beyond and get a manufactured stone that would hold up for decades. He reconfigured the park in places that it was problematic. And I bring that up because we always run into problems. There's not a project we do as mayors or as council, even at our regular jobs, where the stuff doesn't hit the fan and things go south. But it's a matter of what you do when it does go bad. And for Bob Carr to step up and fix the problem, he could have just walked away from it and left that stone to deteriorate forever. He was under no obligation to fix it. But he stood up and he took care of it and went above and beyond. And I want to thank the Give Something Back Foundation and Bob Carr for that. And it's a marvelous park that we have right in the center of town. The murals came up, another great collaborative project. Last year's Summer Art Series, was a way of bringing kind of some of the nostalgia back into the city of Lockport. And, again, this was Homer Tree, Burkott's, Montebello Estates, Gallus Construction, who helped hang these. And then it was the building owners who let these murals go up on the walls for the next 5 years. It was Kathy from Uncle Richie's, who's never felt like she's been part of the city. I said, no, I love what you do, Kathy, please. And then she also wanted to be part of this. There was Scott Rosiak from Allstate, owns the Allstate building. And then David Mead for Members, of course. And so it's been a nice, fun way of just adding some color and some vibrancy into the downtown. But it was a matter of getting all those people to work together and be part of this. I can't go very far here without mentioning the schools. We have a lot of great public schools here in the city of Lockport. We also have some great private schools, St. Joe's and St. Denis, Bobby Noonan, all outstanding. But our high school, we have one high school here in town, and of course, they deserve all the kudos that we can give them. Again, ranked in the top 10% of high schools in the country by Newsweek. They have adding advanced placement, computer science and engineering to their central campus curriculum. They've been able to continually get state championships and perform. Their girls bowling state championship contenders. We had the wrestling coming off in third place for the IHSA finish this last year. We had our first Olympian from the high school, Haley Agallo. She went out there to Rio de Janeiro as a wrestler. Very proud of her. All these people, products of the Lockport Township High School. We saw the Madrigals up here. I saw them for the first time about a year ago perform. Just amazing. I mean, the high school is producing just well-rounded, holistic children. Not only are they performing at high academic levels that get national recognition, but their music and their athletics are also being recognized and are magnificent. Our marching band is going to be playing this year at the University of Illinois Superstate Festival, which is quite an honor, and they were invited because of their performances throughout the year. So great job, Tom Burnett and the school board, District 205. You guys do a wonderful job. They also, by the way, are even investing in our city even more. They just about to break ground this spring on the East Campus renovation, which will add 4 additional science classrooms and upgrade a culinary arts food lab and also an automotive lab. Again, well-rounded students. Citgo, thank you for your partnership here in the city of Lockport, a $70,000 grant to help build a STEM lab, which is the first 3D virtual reality high school lab in the state of Illinois. That's a really big deal. When we went out there and visited it, it was just amazing. I think I got a picture of Darren in there working something, man, right? So, what did you create for us that day, Darren? Something? So lots of good stuff over there. Great job at the high school, and thank you again for Citgo for being a community member. Safe cities. Again, we've been ranked in the top 100 this year, number 56 safest city in America, as recognized by Neighborhood Scout. This is a testimony to our citizens. It's a testimony to our police department. It's also a testimony to our EMA workers, to our auxiliary officers. Every time there's a festival that we have going on, our auxiliaries and our EMA guys are out there making sure that people are safe. It's just a great community, and all those things come into play. So congratulations on making 56 safest city in America. You know, our city really does have a community police department. We restructured the department in 2014, brought on a new police chief. You know, it was time to look at ourselves differently. We weren't no longer a 5,000 person town. We were a 25,000 person city. And bringing Chief Lemming on board to kind of give some outside eyes to look at this and kind of restructure the department has been very important. It's created better advancement opportunities for our officers. We also started a chaplain program. We expanded that so that we have folks on staff, actually they're volunteers, but they're folks who are available like Lou Wold and others who can help counsel and be part of the community and reach out into different ways. And in fact, they're all pastors at our local churches as well. So in other words, just more integration. Also, part of that community outreach has been something that is completely Chief Lemming, and that was when he started the Lockport Love Charitable Group. It's just been amazing outreach to our local people. All the money that's taken in and raised for this goes right back into our community 100%. You know, the chief and those who volunteer for Lockport Love, they find folks who are in need, and every Christmas they go around and they help them. They have gift cards available. That is the true heart that comes from our Lockport Police Department, and I thank you guys for all the work that you've done. Another thing that was just started by our Lockport Police Department was the Safe Passage Addiction Recovery Program. You know, heroin addiction is not something that's just, you know, an issue that comes to Lockport. It's all over the country. It's actually a major problem. But again, our department recognized it, and not just as something to, you know, go arrest folks, but how do we reach out to addicts and help them instead of just, you know, looking at it punitively. So they started the Safe Passage Addiction Recovery Program, where people who are struggling with heroin addictions can come into the department, tell them like, look, I need to submit myself to this, and they'll get them into an addiction program, and you know, wrap our arms around these folks and try to help them. And again, that's our community-oriented police department that we're very proud of. So thank you, gentlemen, for all that you do. Oh, and by the way, this was Aiden Tucker's brainchild here. This Support the Blue March was a 12-year-old young man here in the city of Lockport. He and his family organized that to kind of get all the folks out there to support the Blue, especially during some of this, you know, times that we've had the last year or two where police departments have been taking a big hit around the country. So this was just our way of reaching out, and thank you again to Aiden Tucker for organizing that. Another thing for city safety, when we first came on board, the council and I decided, you know, we have a lot of issues with our sprinklers downtown. You know, these are old buildings. How do we retrofit them? We came up with a sprinkler grant so that we can help offset the cost for these mom and pop businesses and building owners. We came up with a $20,000 grant. The fire district, recognizing that, well, you know, that's a really good thing. It helps take a lot of the danger out of our jobs when there's a sprinkler system in place, and if something bad happens, they came on board as well and offered their own grant for $5,000 for alarms. Between those two entities working collaboratively, the fire district and the city, we were awarded the safety award from the Illinois Fire Safety Alliance. This was because of our you know, co-compliance grants that we've offered. Our sprinkler grants, and along with new water mains that we're putting in and increased water capability as we've expanded our wells. And even like with the State Street project, when we tear out State Street and we go back in, we're going to take those water mains that are this big and they've been too small for years, and we're going to actually replace them with the sized water mains that a city needs of our size. So all this is part of the infrastructure that we've been working diligently to fix, and this is why, you know, we continue to get things like grants for being a safe city. And that just goes back to it, as I was saying, you know, with the new water mains throughout the city, the State Street replacement, and I know that increased water quality doesn't really matter for fighting fires, but the residents appreciate that. But well 14 has been newly dug, and 12 and 13 have been rehabbed. So, and then there's a new deep well that we're eyeballing at 151st Street as well, which will also add water into the system. So we continue to work not just for safety, but for water quality, for health, and all these other aspects as well. But congratulations to the fire department on their new fire building that's gone up. It's amazing. I want to thank Dave and the board for just understanding how important it is to have a building of this quality right at the edge of our historic downtown. Even the Seven Arches that they picked were an architectural element that reflected the Seven Arches Bridge that stood in the downtown Lockport for many years. And so we appreciate the cupola and the limestone and just the beautiful building you've made as people enter into the historic district. So thank you, gentlemen of the Fire District Board and Dave for really investing in our city. You know, our housing starts have been up. You know, everywhere from Sagebrook to Creekside to Lago Vista have been building. Again, when I told you when we came on board, our housing starts were anemic. Our tap-on fees were $15,000 more than our neighbors. So the council was proactive. We lowered those fees so that we can be competitive, and it's showing. Sagebrook is building out faster than they expected. The housing starts were $280, but they're selling homes for $410, $420 because people are just really excited about being here, putting on all the bells and whistles that they offer. So we're just really excited about those increased housing starts. And one of the reasons why Lockport Square and our retail centers are moving is because of our housing starts. So important part of the puzzle. I know I've had this slide up for a couple years now, but Tim Grogan assures me he's coming this year. So this is up at 143rd Street. It's a really nice stone apartment buildings with a clubhouse and a pool and concierge service. It also has a few retail lots on the outside. And I did talk to Tim just a couple weeks ago. He says, yes, we're looking at this year coming in. They've just been getting their finance together. But this will be another great asset here in the city of Lockport up on the north end. We've broken ground at another area here in town for some development. The 4 parcels between Aldi and Culver's. The first people that will break the ground here to build will be Murphy's Express Oil, but there are 3 other lots as well. Aldi's going to be expanding this year, an extra 2,056 square feet. So we just look forward to that whole little corridor. Has been building up, economic activity that we all appreciate. You know, we have a new building that went up at where Porter Dental is, and it's a great asset. It's a beautiful building, by the way. I will say this, I know when it was going up, I told them it was a dentist's office, they were a little disappointed, right? Not because it's Porter Dental, it's been a great asset, because they were all certain it was going to be a Panera Bread. So I'm really sorry, it's not a Panera Bread. But we're very grateful for the beautiful building that Porter Dental built. But the good news is, Panera Bread's coming anyway. Yep. So over at Lockport Square, again, when we got on board here, it was in foreclosure, this lot. You know, we had to find a buyer, we had to find somebody that we could work with, and they've done a lot of work to get the land up to speed and get those outlots sold and working on LOIs. And we've seen the first pieces, you know, with the first outlot building went up last year. This year, Panera Bread is going to build on lot number 5, which is the furthest western building on that lot. It'll be a 2-unit building. And then the council just approved an agreement with Holiday Inn Express. So they will be going in directly behind the Lockport Medical Express building, which is great. And we're also, we tentatively talked as a council to give a thumbs up to a movie theater with a sales tax incentive for them. So they're currently negotiating with the property owners. It'll be a nice theater to go in there, really kick off the back part of this. As I said, we've got some LOIs still in the front lot and some letters of intent in the back, but really we needed some momentum. We needed a building to go up, a structure to go up in the back to really kickstart the back end. So we look forward, and while, like I said, as a council, we all wanted a magic pill the day we took office that, you know, we pop that pill and bing, retail pops up. But it doesn't work that way. But a lot of hard work getting a buyer for this place, to get it out of foreclosure, to begin to do the things that attract retailers and restaurants, which is the housing starts, which is the business park activity. All those things are precursors to the retail development. So thank you to the council and staff for working very hard to make these sort of things happen. And you know, as I wrap up here today, the other aspect of having a collaboration in the community are just all the nonprofit partners. And I know I will have missed some. I was just throwing out a list today, whether it's Main Street, the National Historic Trust, the Lockport Chamber, the Lockport Prayer Warriors, who without, I don't believe we would have gone anywhere. The Lockport Resource Center, the Will County Historical Society, Midwest Soaring, I saw Joseph back here. Asiago Sister City Program, the Summer Art Series Committee, the Roxy Group, Laughs, just all the volunteers that really go into making the city of Lockport something special. This is, sometimes I remember people, they used to tell me, oh, why can't Old Canal Days be like it used to be? I said, well, it used to be that way because all your parents got involved. Who do you think made the costumes and built the floats? It was your parents. You guys want that same kind of magic? Get involved. And we've been seeing that now for the last few years as people have gotten more involved and are really, seeing the hope and being excited about all that's going on in the city of Lockport. So I want to thank all the volunteers and all the hard work that go into making the city of Lockport the greatest city in the southwest suburbs. We appreciate our identity and who we are. And as we look at the challenges ahead, some of that will be, managing growth and congestion. We have an identity as a national historic city. We have one of the few nationally registered historic downtowns in the state. It's a very important thing that was signed into law by Ronald Reagan. So making sure that we continue to take care of the downtown, managing our growth, working with folks like Prologis who are willing to do the berming and willing to do the smaller buildings, whatever it takes to be part of the city. We're going to be working with the police department with how we deal with congestion on 171 and other roads. They've already been working together with me for a plan. So those things will be part of our challenges as we move forward. Obviously, our CIP is going to need to constantly be overlooked. It's like I live in an old house. Every time you open up a wall, there's stuff that you never expected to see back there, right? So every time you think you have a project that's going to be this big, it ends up being this big. So that's even happened with us as we tear up a road and you find stuff that is kind of scary down there that goes above and beyond what you were expecting. So making sure that we stay on the CIP for our infrastructure with all the challenges. As I mentioned, I want to make sure that, it's very important to me, we see the State Street reconstruction through, and the goal is to not lose a single business to the construction. It's one thing if somebody's going to retire, right? But it's another thing if I don't want to see any businesses lost just because it's like they can't handle the construction season. So we're going to be very proactive, making sure we market and making sure we embrace our businesses in the downtown through that very difficult time. But when it's done, it's going to be beautiful and magnificent. But that'll be a challenge. I want to make sure that as we form an intergovernmental committee, Jim Petrakis' idea, one of our aldermen says, look, let's start getting some folks from all the different governing boards, whether the school districts, fire, let's at least get some time where we can meet and discuss things, whether it's new housing starts that are coming up, how that's going to affect the schools, so that we can all work together, not as separate entities, but really collaboratively work together. And then lastly, what's going to be important as we go forward is just, communication in this strange new world. All the mayors here, we were just talking about this. It's like, it's so crazy. And I don't know if it's just the national tone of craziness and tweeting and Facebook, but just communication gets so out of hand so quickly. And it just seems to be so many falsehoods or things that are just not true, and it's almost impossible to address it. I think as mayors and as a council, it'll be interesting how we address good communication in the future. I know when I've done a couple town hall meetings, 5 people show up, and 3 of them are my wife and daughter. So it's like, how do you reach out to people, where you can still have a conversation that's, meaningful and productive. So those are things that we'll all look forward in the coming year. So I want to thank you for coming out here today. Hopefully I didn't keep you too long. I know how important your time is, and so I really do appreciate when you come out here and listen to the things that are going on in Lockport. So thank you, folks. I appreciate it. Thanks again.